What happens when a limo driver turns into a cop into a criminal, a prostitute into a gardener, Dr. Cox into a pansy, and you throw them all together in a motel during a monsoon?
You get the theatrical version of the Eagles' hit song Hotel California.
Find out next on Trees in Space. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trees in Space, the show where we watch every movie of every genre and tell you what the fans thought, what the critics thought, and what we think. Was it worthy of a forced or just a stump to sit on? I'm Jason, and that's Nate. And in case you missed the thumbnail, this week we watched the 2003 mystery thriller Identity, starring John Cusack and Ray Liotta. So, Nate, were you familiar with this movie before we watched it?
No, actually, like mostly all the movies you present to me, I have never heard of or seen before. And I'm going to tell you, this movie was pretty brilliant
Mm.
until you figure it out. Right around, let's say, about like an hour and 8 minutes in.
The third act.
Yeah. What,
And the
right?
reviews I've been reading that is like it's a great movie till the third act. Great movie, but the whole point of the movie is the third act. It's supposed to like it changes gears. It um, let me explain to the audience what we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, the movie Identity. I was going to explain it, but I didn't write down the actual information on this movie. We're just going to say this: 10 strangers meet together in a motel and they can't get out. There's raining on both sides. One was hit by a car by another person that is there also. And some really strange things happen while they're at this motel together.
Yeah, that's a very broad strokes to this movie.
That's how it started anyway.
Uh, the fact that there were, I don't even know how to get into this movie because,
Oh, spoilers, everyone. We can't go through this without spoiling it.
yeah, um, I guess I'm gonna start off at the beginning. Is how the fuck is this limo driver so qualified? He's a 3 year pre-med. He was a cop. Now he's a limo driver. He fucking sutured this woman with a needle and thread and and the guy's like, "Where'd you learn how to do that?" And he goes, "I was 3 years pre-med." Like,
2 years, yeah.
and you're driving a limo? Like, what the fuck happened to you?
Well, just like the other movie we watched. Wait, no. No, this was the movie. I'm usually nitpicky about a lot of things like that.
Yes.
But I'm not nitpicky with this movie because they explain why that's possible at the last act.
Right. Eventually it starts to unravel. Uh,
Yes.
and I took my notes in order so that way, like, I'm pretty much gonna walk everybody through a shot for
Please,
shot,
please do. Please
start
do.
to finish. Um, you know, this limo driver is so complex. Like, so the actress, there's an actress there, um, and who the limo driver was driving. The limo driver hit this woman, um, and he finds her head in a freaking dryer,
Dryer.
and he just like,
Yeah. Like no big deal.
yeah, just a fucking head rolling around in a fucking dryer. Like, you can't react.
Yeah,
Like,
a little reaction to that, and then of course the cop that comes behind with the motel manager,
yep.
and they see it too, and they're looking at each other. No one's accusing the limo driver of killing the person, even
Nope.
though that'd be my first thing, especially if I'm the cop. Did you do this? Because I mean, you find the head, the person with the head.
Well, yeah, and they're like, well, we haven't found the body. They didn't go look for the body either.
No, and they until this day we still haven't found the body.
Right. The body is still at large.
The
And,
party's still at large. At large. Can't talk.
and like the limo driver, he walks outside and his ADHD kicks in and he sees the little shower curtain clip.
Mhm.
Um, Also, if you looked close enough while she was holding the curtain hooks, some
It
of
tore off
them,
the curtain rod. Yeah.
some of them are still fastened.
Yeah.
So it's impossible for those to be still fastened if she ripped the shower curtain off of the shower
Oh,
rod.
that's a good point. But again, the reasoning, those little small, that's a great thing about the movie. Let me rephrase this. That's the great thing about this movie is those little nitpicky things all explained away. There's a reason everything wasn't perfect. You don't have to be a perfect editor of this movie. It's okay because
Oh
there's a
no.
reason.
I mean, that shit should have been caught.
The reason she needed a shower curtain because she wanted to cover herself up to go out in the rain
Which
to
is,
make a phone call, and she got killed immediately.
and I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, and none of them went to go find the phone.
No.
Not one of them was like, "Oh, well, she had a cell phone." The
No.
manager
Well.
went and stole her wallet, but not the fucking cell phone. Nobody went to go find this phone. What the fuck?
And do
Um,
you and one of the managers had such a hard time with the prostitute? Why you hate the prostitute so much? That never was explained at all in any point in the movie.
no,
Okay,
it's true. Wait a minute. I know why.
why? His mom was a prostitute. That's right. That's right. This is all gonna make sense when we get to the end of the review because I'm gonna spoil this for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, um, that then something else that brings up is the prostitute, which I forgot all about her. Insert her picture here.
Amanda Peet.
Amanda Peet, thank you. She still sexy,
Oh my God.
still a fire. Uh,
Yeah, very sexy about her. I never thought so when during that time, but looking back, yeah.
yeah, and she's aged incredibly well. She looks exactly the same. Anyway, when she was like, "What's your birth sign?" to the limo driver, he's like Taurus, and she's like, "Oh, me too." Like, the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Anything at all.
Yeah, why are you asking that stupid ass question? And then fast forward a little bit more, you find out they're all born on May 10th.
It's your birthday next week. It's my birthday next week, the 10th.
Peet.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's when you're really like, well, shit.
That's fast forward towards the end. That's before the third act. That's when the reveal comes. There's a lot
And
that. What's basically is all these characters are dying at this motel, and you got to figure out who the killer is. And there happens to be an escaped convict in the hotel.
and what's really weird and clever is they're doing it with the room keys
Yes.
in descending order. So it was like number 10, and then it was like, all right, and then you get eventually down to the final four.
Hmm. Yeah, that was it's like 10 little. This is not politically correct, but there's a movie back in the 40s or 50s. It was called 10 Little Indians. And there's other one like that too. It's basically movies where they're trapped in a place they don't can get out of, and someone gets killed and someone else gets killed, down to the last two. And they're trying to figure out who's doing this. There's only two left. One has to be killing them. That's I think it's Agatha Christie did this. So this is Agatha Christie type movie because all these characters were killing each other. Some of them you know who killed them because what's his name crashed into the other person, killing him accidentally. The two at the end who shot each other, you saw that happen. Um, don't
Uh,
explain how Ginger got blown up in the car.
I want to know why did the convict that was being transferred get he got handcuffed to the freaking toilet, right?
Hmm.
He breaks the toilet thing. He's still handcuffed.
Hmm.
Then they show him running with his hands free. How the fuck did he get the handcuffs off?
Again,
And then why did he break the freaking toilet if he got the freaking handcuffs broken loose? They weren't even on his wrists.
well, okay, that is all true, and there's a lot more about this that's worse because the idea is what's happening is someone's being sentenced to death for the murder of 9 or 6 people, and we're led to believe that this person killed all these people in the motel, like it's a story about that.
Right.
It's not a story about him killing all those people. That's not what the story is about.
Yeah.
Um, but there's 10 characters for a reason. But we lose the character of the actual manager and the actual police officer who both are die in this story.
Right. They've died previously to this.
Right. So were they also characters in the overarching like other
I would believe so.
yeah. So um I'm just gonna say it now. I'm gonna have to. Um
La la la, I can still hear you. La 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 la.
so what happens is that guy who killed all these people, he didn't kill it. He has a split personality. One of his personalities killed the people. And they're trying to save his life, saying that the personality that killed everyone it no longer exists. So
Right.
the psychiatrist has to bring all his personalities together so they can face each other. And that's what the motel was. All his personalities facing each other. And I did not expect that twist at all when John Cusack was suddenly like, who are you talking to?
See, I
And
was
that's
about to ask you that question is when did you figure out that they were all in his head? And you didn't.
not until they showed him as the patient.
So I figured it out at 1 hour and 8 minutes. And at like an hour and 14 is when they reveal the big reveal of they're all in his head. Yeah,
Okay, you say 1 minute, 8 seconds. What happened in that 1 minute, 8 seconds that made you think it was all in his mind?
I think it was probably right around where they were starting to like the bodies were disappearing.
Hmm.
I was like, how the fuck are the bodies disappearing? And they're like, oh, it's a haunted burial ground or caverns all
Yeah.
around, and like all these little fucking things to keep you in the Hotel California.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
And the
and
same birth dates
yeah, and so oh, and then
in
they had the big,
Florida.
and then I also figured out, I was like, wait a sec, because when they showed Ray Liotta and he was putting his jacket on, there was the what I thought was a
Yes, a bullet. Yes.
and really it was a stab wound because he also was an escaped convict.
And
And
I didn't, I saw that and I asked Jocelyn, I'm like, do you see that hole in his back? She goes, yeah. I go, that's weird. I don't know that. I've never seen that. I don't understand.
yeah,
Where'd it come from?
exactly. And then they show it. So they show you everything. So there's, in case you miss something. So they were I mean it was clever.
Um, should we move on to the 5 star and 1 star reviews?
I think we should.
The first 5 star review is from Melissa L. Great movie, although it was confusing at times, but so was the ending. But the ending fits the movie because it was unexpected and unusual. Must see.
Yeah. Uh
Okay.
yes. That's all I got. Yep. Uh the first 1 star or less comes from an unknown. If you think this ending was good, you also think Adam Sandler movies are prime comedy, not uncut gemstones. I'll give him that one, or give that to him. I was so upset at the twist, but even more angry at how little time was left of the film when it was revealed. I wanted to turn it off, but I felt compelled to see it through for better or worse.
Um, 2 things. One, that's a very long review, and I hate you for making me type that into our edit. But anyways, so it's a copy paste, but still I gotta adjust it. Anyways, when do you expect to have a reveal? Halfway through a movie? The reveal should be at the end. You're like, wow, and then have like 2 minutes left. That's the whole point of the not the whole point, but
I would have been satisfied with the ending.
hmm
Uh, but the I think To me, the twist saved the movie because I did not see it coming, and I was like, "Fuck yes!"
The next 5-star review is Andre G. Awesome movie. One of my favorites. Very suspenseful. Keeps you interested till the end. The only thing that sucks is once you watch it, it ruins to watch it again because you know exactly what's going on. Worth a watch for sure. I think I could watch it again.
If you don't mind knowing how it ends,
Yeah.
you totally rewatch this.
And maybe watching it again, you pick up stuff you didn't pick up the first time.
Yeah, maybe
Tap two.
you watch it again, you'll see that the shower curtain dinglings are still hanging off the shower curtain enclosed.
Yeah.
Uh, what was
May-
there was
Maybe you'll see, oh my God, it was always this right in my face. I should have better figured it out immediately.
how did I not see it coming?
Mhm.
That's what she said.
The next 1 star less comes from an unknown. Tremendously stupid. With a twist that upends everything and makes the whole film you've spent time watching absolutely irrelevant. Why anyone made this is beyond belief. Phaedon Papa Michael's cinematography is the sole redeeming quality.
Um, you can say that about almost like tons of movies. Raiders of the Lost Ark. We don't need Indiana Jones, right? It's still a great movie.
Yep.
I mean, Back to the Future. Just don't steal the petroleum. Oh, not petroleum. The
Podium. Don't steal the fuel, Marty!
I think that person is nitpicky. Sounds like something I would do. Oh,
But you didn't.
I didn't. The last 5-star review is from Michael H. Excellent underrated gem. A must watch for those who love survival thrillers, mysteries, and whodunits. A plus.
I wouldn't give it an A plus, but it was well done.
It was well done. And the reason I'm not nitpicky is because the way it did end, and that's the reason. That's the reason those things can be let slid during the first hour of this movie, hour 15 minutes of this movie.
My last 1 star or less comes from an unknown. Hi, I have DID. I just want to say that this entire movie is bullshit, and that's not how integration works at all. Also, stop typing us as being serial killers. Thanks.
Which one of your identities wrote this?
The one that was angry.
And the one that is not the killer.
It's true. Do you think I need to know more about this dual identity disorder?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's I saw Sybil. Sybil turned out to be BS. And I'm sure people black out, but they still move and do things in a different type of personality. I don't think it's so cut and dry like we're seeing here, but what are you gonna do?
This is probably an oversimplification
Yeah.
of what it could be, but
It's a fantasy. I mean,
it's an easy
there's
scapegoat.
not really dinosaurs on an island somewhere either, guys.
We don't know that.
Uh, fair, fair. The WTF review from Unknown. It's 5 stars this time. Awesome flick. Rotten Tomatoes are a bunch of tards disguised as critics. Let me critique them. They suck. That's his words.
I like it. I love it because I don't know what Rotten Tomatoes or the audience scored this movie.
Oh, good.
I can only imagine that they must have scored it 56% or less.
Well, let's find out and get to the scores of Rotten Tomatoes. So, Rotten Tomatoes scored this at 63%, which is
Oh,
above average. While the audience, which is you, made it a wonderful 75%.
boom.
I think those are perfectly fine grades, especially from Rotten Tomato.
I'm actually surprised Rotten Tomatoes didn't have this a little bit higher. I also expected the audience to have this scored lower.
Now we're going to talk about what we think. I am going to give my review. Nate will give his. Thought the cinematography was great. I thought the script was great. I don't think there was a lull in the last act. I would absolutely, I would absolutely recommend it to my surgeon and to my psychologist. See what they think about this movie. And I thought the acting was great. I thought Ray Liotta, John Cusack, Amanda Peet, um, Dr. Cox. I think everybody did a great job.
Oh, even Doc Ock was good.
Yes, Doc Ock was in it, and he did a great job too. I think the premise was wonderful. It was different. It was exciting. It kept you guessing. There's nothing wrong with this movie, I didn't think. Okay, there was some things, but nothing for me to really complain about. If I wasn't such a dick, I might have given it 5 trees, but I am a dick, so I'm not giving it 5 trees because this is not giving me my first 5 tree review. But I am going to give it 4.
Now it's my turn.
That's impressive. I shall go next. I agree. I would recommend this to my surgeon and my psychiatrist. I agree. I feel that it was a really good script. Uh, it was very brilliantly shot. It was great until I figured out what is going to happen next. I really wish I didn't figure it out. And that really kind of hurt this movie up until the end of the movie when I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't. I'm like, of course it was right there the whole freaking time, son of a mother. And then I was like, all right. And I walked it off, and then I finally figured out that uh, 3 trees is how I feel about this movie.
Well, you heard it here. Nate's giving this film 3 trees. I'm giving it 4 trees. But please tell us what you think. Put a comment down there, like, subscribe, be the algorithm monster so we can get this content out to more people. Let someone know, and you let us know what you thought of this movie. So please come join us next Monday for the next episode on Trees in Space.